SmackDown took place tonight in San Jose, California. To start the show off, Nick Aldis, the general manager, came out and he was in the ring. He says Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu is now a number one contenders match, which was the main event. Originally scheduled to be the main event, I should say. And the winner will face Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Vic Joseph and Corey Graves are on commentary for tonight, by the way. I think the first time Corey's been on TV since Brock attacked him before WrestlePalooza, and this is one of the first times Vic Joseph has done commentary on the main roster. Hopefully, this is one of the first times of many. So, they hype up the main event, Aldis does, and Cody Rhodes comes out, and he hypes up the main event, and he says he's going to be ready for the winner. So the MFT walks backstage, they interrupt Rey Fenix's photo shoot, then they attack him. Solo is god-awful, get him off my TV. Unfortunately, this was not the first time we'd see him tonight. I really hate this guy. I don't want to see him. He has no charisma, boring as fuck. His stable sucks. I just don't want to see him. So Charlotte Flair is out next, and then Alexa Bliss comes out, and she, of course, being she's Alexa Bliss, gets a big pop. And they're out to defend their tag team titles against Sol Ruca and Zarya, who came out after the break. And then we see a special guest in the crowd, and that happens to be Blake Monroe of NXT, sitting in the crowd watching the match. Of course, she's currently feuding with Sol Ruca, so I think that kind of gave it away that Sol and Zarya weren't going to win. I don't think anyone's ever expecting them to win anyway, but I think that was a dead giveaway right there, that she'd eventually play a role in them losing. So we get a Women's Tag Team Championship title match. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defending their titles against Sol Ruca and Zarya. So at first, Zarya and Sol, who were basically working as the heels in this match, at least for the first part, they get the heat on Alexa Bliss for a while, especially on the break. Zarya beats her down, and then Charlotte Flair gets the hot tag. She goes wild. Alexa Bliss actually broke up a very close near fall after Sol Ruca hit the Soul Snatcher on Charlotte, and it looked like that was it because Alexa's not anywhere in sight. She was on the outside, and she breaks it up right at the last second, and that was actually a really good spot. It was kind of almost a hope spot for the underdogs, and that really got me for a while. I thought, are they going to do this? So Sol on the outside is distracted by Blake Monroe, and it wasn't like Blake Monroe was doing anything to her. She was just standing there, and Sol got upset. And as Sol has her back turned, she turns her back to Charlotte Flair. You never do that. So she attacks Sol in the knee. I think she even attacked the bad knee that Sol tore. And then she throws her in the ring, locks in the figure eight, and Sol Ruca taps out to Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss retain their Women's Tag Team Championships. They celebrate after the win. So I guess their feud's probably going to cross 3 months now. So they've been champions since SummerSlam. Backstage, we see Cody walking, and Jacob Fatu goes up to him, and he says he's coming for the title after he wins tonight. They're hyping up that match. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega have a video promo, and it's kind of weird because there's candles everywhere, and it's really quick, but all I remember is snakes being wrapped around Zelina Vega's waist. I hope they're not doing that as part of it, or maybe it's just an aesthetic for the video promos and stuff like that, but I hope they don't actually use snakes as their gimmick. What are they going to be like? They're going to have Jake Roberts with them? I don't know, but that was strange. Miz talks to Nick Aldis backstage, and Sammy walks in and demands to defend his United States Championship match. And once they come back from break, we hear Hulk Hogan's theme song, Real American, and they're actually bringing back Rockin' Wrestling to the WWE Vault on YouTube. I wanted to mention that. I might watch an episode. It was, I think it was in the 80s, so it was actually mid-80s, so a lot of those wrestlers around the time of the first WrestleMania and stuff like that, but I'm glad they're actually doing that. I might actually check out an episode. So Sami Zayn's out next, and originally Miz answers the open challenge, and I think everyone watching all let out a collective groan seeing the Miz. But Carmelo Hayes jumps him, and then security separates them, and then someone else comes out, and it's Ilya Dragunov. He takes the open challenge, and for the United States Championship Open Challenge, Sami Zayn defends his title against Ilja Dragunov. I hope I pronounce it Ilya. I'm not sure how you pronounce it in Russian. But Dragunov and Sami. And wow, this was definitely the highlight of the night, no doubt. They have some really good exchanges. So Ilya's wearing this knee brace, and he has, like, the knee brace is fine, like you would expect after he tore his ACL not too long ago. But it is noticeable. But the thing that's much worse is he has this really awful neck tattoo that would make Cody Rhodes proud. That's actually much worse than Cody's, because Cody's at least just on one side of his neck. This one's just strange. Like, it goes from his neck to his chest, and like his whole, the rest of his body is like all without any ink. So it just kind of looks weird that the first tattoo is on your neck. That's supposed to be one of the last tattoos. You start on your arm or something. But anyway, they had just a great match. It was a "This is awesome" chant. Sami blocked an H-bomb with a kick. Sami hit a Blue Thunder bomb, but Ilya kicked out like at 200 course. I thought the match was over, but Ilya just gets a shoulder up right at the last split second, and it made for a very close near fall. Sami goes to finish him with a haluva kick, but then we see Solo Sikoa appear on stage, and it distracts Sami Zayn, and he then goes for it anyway, but this time Ilya hits a shoulder block, and he just takes out Sami with it, and then he hits the H-bomb on Sami Zayn. That's right, Ilya Dragunov hits the frickin' H-bomb on Sami Zayn. 1, 2, 3. We have a new United States champion, and he is a Russian-born United States champion, Ilya Dragunov. That's right. That's great. That guy's awesome. That guy is probably, I would make the argument, he might be the best in-ring worker in the whole company. That's how good he is. He's special. Really happy for him. Great that they did this. I mean, there's always an issue when you want to give someone the U.S. title or give someone a title almost on their debut, because this really is his debut. Yeah, he was on TV last year, but it was only for a month, and he got hurt, and he wasn't doing anything meaningful. Remember, I think it was actually aligned with Sami for a bit against Gunther. I forget exactly what he was doing, but I think he was actually aligned with Ricochet against Braun Breaker. That's how long ago, man. I mentioned that name. That was a while ago, but that's what he did. And he pinned Sami, so huge win for Ilya. Really great moment here. He's our new U.S. champion. As I said, the first ever Russian-born United States champion. And MFT jumps both of them after the match. I'm thinking, oh, great. We got this awesome match. Now they're going to fucking ruin it with the worst fucking person in the whole company, Solo. A guy who should be cut. If he was from any other family, if he wasn't part of that family, he would have never been signed probably, and he would have been released years ago. This guy sucks. But, yeah, Solo was fucking terrible. Rey Fenix tries to make the save, but they just beat him up. And I get it. It's like 5-on-1, and he's short. He gets a choke slam from the tall guy, Talo Tonga, so whatever. But Solo's terrible. Then the lights go out, and it's the Wyatt 6. So Uncle Howdy appears on the screen. He cuts a promo. Then the 4 Wyatts appear behind him, and the MFT retreats. So I hope we're not doing this, but right now it looks like we're getting MFT and Wyatt 6 for War Games. That sucks. I was hoping Roman Reigns would be in War Games. It would be like a super team of Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, and CM Punk, and maybe Randy Orton or someone against, they can't do Seth now, yeah. It can't work now. It would have been the Vision plus Brock plus Drew, but that's not going to happen now. That's probably our War Games match, unfortunately, everyone. I mean, if they're just going to do that, I kind of wish they would just do a regular Survivor Series show, because I really don't want to see that for War Games. MFT and Wyatt 6, But I guess it's probably due to the Seth injury. That's probably the reason they're going this direction. And they're giving it a lot of time. They're prominently featuring both teams. I think that's probably what we're getting at Survivor Series. So Kathy Kelly's backstage, and she interviews Tiffany Stratton. And this is after Tiffany lost to Stephanie Vaquer. She's talking about her loss, and then Kiana James walks up to her, and it basically sets up a match for next week, which I don't want to see. Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James, no interest. And Julia is not in sight. Yeah, Kiana mentioned her, but she's not in sight. It kind of goes to my theory that they put them together to get Kiana over because they think she can be a bigger star than Julia. I'm kind of worried about that, but yeah, Kiana, I don't really care to see her wrestle Tiffany Stratton next week. So we get a Motor City Machine Guns, and they're doing a video interview on their 1 year anniversary since their debut last year. And SmackDown was such a better show last year when it was on Fox, and they took it more seriously. Now it sucks, and they probably had more TV. I'm not lying. I think they might have had more TV time in like 3 months last year than they have for like 9-10 months this year. But they're doing an interview, and then Los Garza interrupts them. They mock them. It sets up a tag match there tonight. We got the Motor City Machine Guns against Los Garza. I was thinking, all right, this is perfect for Santos Escobar to come in. He's going to interfere and help his team win. No Santos Escobar sighting. He's back with WWE, by the way, and that's old news now. But the Machine Guns got the win. It was a good match and all, but they got the win here. Then we see Fraxium watching backstage. They say they need to make an impact soon. Then DIY walks in with Candice LeRae, Gargano, Ciampa, Candice. They mock them, and these teams both haven't been used for months. And it basically looks like it sets up a tag match. I don't know if they said next week, probably, but I'm glad they're finally doing something. They haven't been on TV since SummerSlam, these teams. Since SummerSlam, we haven't been seeing them. I mean, the big problem with SmackDown going to 2 hours, it's much easier to watch, even though the show's still pretty bad most weeks. But with the 3 hours, you get the tag team division featured a lot here. With 2 hours, there's a lot of weeks where you just don't have anything to do with the tag team division, especially since they decided to put the belts on the Wyatt Six, and they're featuring the MFT. The teams like Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Street Profits, and Fraxium, of course. Those really great teams, so all 4 of them. We really don't get to see them as much because of how they're structuring the show. And it makes me think maybe the tag division would do better on Raw because there's an extra half hour. So Jacob Fatu's music hits next, but he doesn't come out. We go to break to see that he's been nearly murdered. A steel structure or something has been, I don't know exactly what it was. I think it was like a steel shelf. It's placed, like it's crushing him. It's on his back, and like he's bleeding from the mouth internally. There's blood dripping out of his mouth, and it looks like there's teeth. They don't say it's teeth, but they're insinuating it's teeth on the ground. So look, they're doing an heavy angle here, where he's going to be out for several months, and that goes in with all the reports that he's been injured, and it looks like we're not going to see him for a while. So there's a lot of blood, to say the least. And when they come back, they're checking on him. Aldis is checking on him, and that's their way of writing off Jacob for a while. Drew McIntyre's out next. He mocks Jacob, and then Nick Aldis threatens him if he had something to do with it. Drew brushes him off. Cody comes out and accuses Drew of it. He makes a title match right now, and he's wrestling in his suit. Yes, the Undisputed WWE Champion is such an idiot. He wants to defend his title in a fucking suit in the main event in some random match while the other guy is in his gear. He's been preparing all this time for a match. Cody is champion. Yeah, I'll defend my belt right now. Like, what an idiot. Anyway, we get an impromptu Undisputed WWE Championship match. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. So they brawl in the crowd for a while. Then the ref finally rings the bell. They're actually having a decent match. Cody's wrestling in his suit. Eventually, it ends on the outside when Cody hits Drew with his title belt, causing the disqualification. So it's technically a win for Drew, and he'll get another title shot after this. He removes the cover off the announce table. Cody does. He goes for a crossroads on the announce booth, but security stops it. Then Cody hits a crossbody onto Drew on the outside, taking out a bunch of security guards. He stands tall in the ring, and that's how SmackDown ended, which I thought overall a good show. A lot of good matches. The highlight was definitely Sammy and Ilya. The women's title match, I thought they had a good tag match. I thought the other tag match was decent, even though it's kind of random. And I thought it was a good angle with Fatu. So overall, I thought it was actually a pretty decent SmackDown tonight. And definitely one of the better shows. Because SmackDown, as I said, I think it's been easily the worst show of the year for WWE this year. But tonight was actually one of the better SmackDowns. Maybe not of the year, but definitely one of the better ones I've seen in the last few months.